Trump administration is reportedly set to launch a new phase of operations against Venezuela in the coming days, apparently aiming to overthrow dictator Nicolas Maduro.
It comes as the U.S. ramps up its military strikes against the alleged drug boats in the Caribbean.
Lucas Tomlinson is in Trinidad and Tobago and joins us now with details. Good morning, Lucas.
Tobago.
Tobago.
Tomato, tomato.
Or the island of Trinidad, that works too. Good morning, Charlie, Ainsley, and Brian. New warnings from the FAA have canceled several flights from several foreign carriers to Venezuela after American F-18 Super Hornets, spy planes, and bombers were seen flying off the coast. And now Reuters out with a new report saying covert action could begin soon inside Venezuela. This comes after a month after President Trump authorized the CIA to conduct those operations. And here's from Reuters. Two of the U.S. officials said covert operations would likely be the first part of the new action against Maduro. The options under consideration include attempting to overthrow Maduro.
Okay, guys, welcome to the video. So this is breaking news. It looks like the Trump administration is looking to start an operation in Venezuela. As I've been reporting, there have been several strikes on boats, and there was a huge seizure just last week, and they were stating that these drugs are coming from Venezuela. So it looks like the Trump administration is looking to go into Venezuela through like neighboring areas and start operations there. As they were just saying, there's been like bombers and different military military equipment that's been shown to go into that, like in that region. They're showing up in that region, and it looks like they're going to attempt to overthrow Maduro, who is the current leader in Venezuela. So this is going to be interesting to see what comes of this, and to just see how big the operation is going to be. President Trump is definitely making it like a key, because with everything that's going on in America as far as the economy, with as far as violence, ICE operations and stuff like that. I know that it's been people on both sides, people that are for this and people that are against it. But this is one of the things that he's definitely going to make a priority. He wants to stop the illegal flow of drugs into our country. So this seems like another phase within that step of being able to do that. And of course, this is his first year in his new presidency. So he wants to go ahead and start these operations. Again, we don't know how long these operations will be. We see exactly what they're saying as far as the goal of these operations. So let's listen to see what else we can get from this video here.
Now, Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro has remained defiant. Yesterday was his birthday. Late last week, he attended a public rally with college students, attendance likely mandatory. Rachel Campos-Duffy interviewed Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, who, like Trump, says Maduro's days are numbered.
I completely trust the strategy President Trump is developing, and his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. They know very well with whom they're dealing with. I believe that Maduro will get a very clear picture of what are his options and what's the future for Venezuela. Maduro started this war. President Trump is ending this war.
Should President Trump order strikes against the Maduro regime, there's plenty of firepower in the Caribbean to do it, with about 30% of all deployed American warships, including the aircraft carrier Gerald R. Ford, now on station.
So as you see from this map here, they're showing the aircraft carriers and battleships that are currently within the Caribbean that are around Venezuela right now. And as you see, Colombia is right next to Venezuela. These are two of the main sources of where like a lot of the illegal drugs are coming into the United States from. So they're This is, getting real serious. These ships, typically they're, ships out there, but as you see, there's 7 ships out there, and those ships are ready to go at at a moment's notice. So as soon as Trump would give the word, and he gets the okay, then we could start seeing news as far as strikes and things and the operation kicking up within this region. So, this is serious. I'm not sure if they want to actually call it a war, but I'm very sure Venezuela would not just lay down and take this, or maybe they will. We don't really know just yet, but we do know that we, of course, as you see on the map, we have several vessels in this area ready to go. And I don't think Trump is playing with when it comes to the drugs coming into our country. As you've seen, it was several boats, over 12, if I'm not mistaken, that were, hit with bombs from, our fighter jets and things like that. And this is, in my lifetime, this is one of the first presidents that I've seen that have actively, you know, put forth an effort to stop this type of behavior and stop the drugs from coming into America. As I was saying, they had a huge bust last week where they seized millions and millions of dollars worth of cocaine and other drugs from coming into our country. So it's going to be interesting to see, what actually happens with this whole operation. Um, I'm sure it's going to be successful because we do have one of the best militaries in the world, and we do appreciate every one of the service members and all of their service and the hard work and dedication and putting their lives on the line for us. So we do appreciate them. And this is gonna be very interesting. I feel like in the next coming days, weeks, it's definitely gonna be um, something going on. This type of stuff really interests me because I love watching like military operation videos, military training, documentaries on past operations and things like that. And it's just a very interesting topic to me, so that's why I'm bringing forth this video here. But I'm gonna let them continue and see what other pieces of information we might get.
There are over 200 Tomahawk cruise missiles in theater aboard destroyers and U.S. Marines aboard the USS Iwo Jima and other amphibs in the Ready Group. Now, ahead of Thanksgiving, the U.S. military's top officer, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Raisin Kane, arrived in Puerto Rico yesterday to
His name is General Raisin Kane. So yeah, he's not playing. He's gonna be raising hell. So yeah, and he looks like the type that you know he's not gonna play with you. So, and as they were saying, several Tomahawk missiles on these vessels ready to go. They already are doing their intel and making sure they know where the targets are. And, once we have our targets, typically we don't miss when it comes to that. So, it seems like the Trump administration is saying that the Maduro regime is behind the drugs that are coming into America, and he's definitely looking to put a stop to it. But I'm gonna let the video play a little bit more.
meet the forces who are part of Operation Southern Spear. So with General Kane in the region, we'll have to see if Secretary Hegseth follows suit ahead of Thanksgiving. And one thing officials have said is some of this buildup in the Caribbean goes beyond the Maduro regime. It's about getting Russia, China, and Iran out of the Western Hemisphere, guys.
And how is that not in our national interest? Appreciate it. Thanks so much, Lucas.
A lot of firepower.
And look, we can't spend a lot of time on this. There's so many big stories today. But just check out the Wall Street Journal. They talk about the headline is South America is turning more right-wing and getting Trumpier. What they're doing is more and more are electing, from Chile to what we saw in Bolivia, more electing Panama, electing more and more conservatives. Even the guy in Brazil is in trouble. So it's not healthy to be against the president. What he wants to do is not dominate these countries. He just wants these countries not to be dominated by China, Russia, and Iran.
So as you just heard, like the main goal is of course to stop the influence from China, Russia, Iran. They want to stop the influence in these countries from these other countries. And typically, um, these countries are countries who want to be superpowers, the same as the United States. And so, Trump is trying to hold our position and, you know, put forth this operation there to stop the influence that they're having, and also, as they were saying, to get those countries out of that region. So we'll see, what becomes of this. I'll stay and I'll stay following it and keep everyone updated. Again, if you like my content, make sure you like, subscribe, and make sure you comment on the video so I can get your opinion, create a little dialogue within the comments. And again, this is Justin Paul. Peace.